Today, we've got another one of our very important people at the Warriors, our head trainer. Can I have a talk to him today and let him explain a little bit more about himself and about what it takes to be a head trainer.
My name is Craig Walker. I'm head trainer at the Vodafone Warriors. I've been here since 2006 and I've been involved in rugby league since 1993 when I joined the Sydney Roosters.
There's a lot of things that have changed over that time. What has probably been the most things that have changed and the most important part of the game?
Yeah, the advent of professionalism, the money that came into the game, guys were able to train full time. So when I first started, weights was optional, strength training was optional. I used to train Tuesday, Thursday night and Saturday morning. And then when professionalism came in, full-time training started, so guys got bigger, stronger, faster, obviously. And with that's come new challenges. Now everyone's on the same sort of page, and, trying to find an advantage for recovery or other scientific methods to get the best out of the players.
So for the viewer at home, it's not just about getting out there and training 40 hours a week. You've got to be able to have a plan and a strategy to keep players fresh and, recovery from injury. There's players that are carrying injuries. How do you be able to maintain that? You've got a support staff and...
Look, that's the biggest challenge for someone in my position. We've got a fairly small support staff here. I'm not trying to cry poor, but we're probably one of the smallest in the NRL. There's myself and Dane Norton, who helps me out, but other teams are probably carrying 3 or 4 in that position. We're 2, so it makes it a little bit harder, but in a sense it's more hands-on for us, so that's good. Yeah, you've got to maintain. You've got 25 to /30 athletes you're trying to get the best out of each week, so with that comes, guys who are carrying injuries, guys who may be, changing motivation, guys who are going really well, guys who are not going so good. So you're trying to get, find what's best for them each week. And you do have a plan, but within that plan you've got to have some flexibility because things change. There's a win or loss. Injuries, again, we don't get our schedule until about 6 weeks in advance. We've got to work out when we're playing, whether we've got an 8-day turnaround, a 7-day turnaround, a 6-day turnaround. So with that, you balance the overload and recovery. And you've got to have an empathy for athletes. And there is a big science part of it now, and that is growing, but at the end of the day, you've still got to try and get the best out of the athletes. And if it was just all cold, calculating, clinical type training, guys would start to get a bit bored quicker. And for us, I think for the Warriors, we're a bit different from other teams. That's very important for us. We've got to keep it happy, got to keep it a little bit looser, keep the enjoyment there. These guys respond better to that than just being cold, calculating, more clinical.
The professionalism, obviously, it doesn't just encase what the boys do here at training. It's what they eat, it's the type of sleep they get. How much impact do you have and how much control do you have on being able to monitor that for each individual player?
That's a good question. That's probably the area that we could improve on. That's probably the one untouched area in rugby league. I can provide a lot of advice and guidance in that, but the guys who respond better, again, going back to you and Ruben, guys who've got experience and are very good off the field. I can't go into guys' houses, obviously, and be a food Nazi in what they're eating and what they're sleeping, but you try and provide enough guidance that they'll do it. And with the younger guys, there's some challenges there because, they've got different motivations or different phases of their life. Other guys have got family and kids, so that's another challenge for them. But yeah, it is hard, and I think what will happen in years to come, that will be controlled a lot more within the scope of not overdoing it and not, trying to take the fun of it. But the guys who obviously do look after themselves a lot better get, the better rewards out of it.
So Craig, it's a long season, trying to keep the players fresh and excited and enthusiastic about turning up to training and doing training. How do you do that? What's the biggest task there?
That's a good question. It is really hard. Our in-season, I think, is probably about 47 weeks. That's from when you take in your pre-season all the way through to the end of the grand final. If you get that far, it's 47 weeks. So that's a huge amount. That's unlike most other sports in the world. So, yeah, there is times when you've got to try and change it up a bit. You try little things, more game-related fitness or games, a bit of fun at training. You might change the way we train. We're the shorter and sharper at the moment, like we're doing rather than the longer and sort of slower at the start of the year. You might change at the venue. You might change some of the things you do. You might go to the pool, or you might do some in the gym training. You might come up with some different ideas, grow a beard, that sort of thing.
The other big challenge that we've had is probably travel. It is a part of our schedule. We don't make any excuses, but there's been things that we've tried that have worked and haven't worked. What's your take? You've never really experienced it before, and has it been a hard thing to deal with, the time differences and the 3-hour flight plus the 2 hours at the airport? What have you tried to do, and what do you think is going to be the best for the club?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. When I was at the Roosters, or any team like that, at the start of the year, look at your drawing and go, you beauty, Townsville, Auckland, Melbourne or Gold Coast now, teams excited about going away. We look at it and go, Christ, Townsville. You know, that's a huge trip for us, and some of these double trips, Newcastle, they're big trips. So when I came, I didn't think too much of it, and it surprised me how much it takes out of us. And again, like you said, I'm not trying to make excuse, but it is a hurdle we have to cross, and it's interesting, you know, we go there the night before and play and come back, and we've spoken about trying to get some more time over there. Sydney teams now are coming over 2 or 3 nights before. You know, we played Manly here last year, over here on a Thursday for a Sunday game. So the teams in Australia are paying a lot of attention to it, and we've got to do it every week, so that shows how hard it is. We've done a lot of work on it. We've changed the type of aircraft we travel on, as you know. We've changed the eating times when we get there. We do a little thing when we get there. We've changed what we do the next morning. And you know, we've evolved. It's continually evolving to where we are today, where it's changed today. When I first got in 2006, where we just get in there late, rock in do something early the next morning, get to the game, play, you know, and now we're trying to get on sleeping pattern changes and that sort of thing.
Game day, what's your role during game day? Players arrive at the ground. What happens then? How does Craig Walker take over?
I just prepare some supplements we take before the game, and I prepare some supplements we use after the game to expedite our recovery. For me, it's just making sure the guys are preparing okay. We normally come here and meet him, we'll have a little walk, jog, and I'm just like monitoring how they're going and what times they've got. Then we get to the hotel. A lot of the work's been done before that, making sure we're eating the right food at the hotel. We actually plan what we're taking, what we're going to eat. And then pretty much when I get here, I walk around, look bored, as you know, and then until the game starts, and I've done all my work with getting the supplements right. Then it's just planning the warm-up, and then once the warm-up starts, probably usually half an hour before it, we start inside, then go out the back to complete it, and then on the field, run messages. And
finally, your biggest highlight being involved in rugby league?
Probably the 2002 grand final with the Roosters. That was, yeah, as you know, it's a pretty special thing to be involved in the grand final. So that was great. But you know, I was only assistant trainer then, so I'd love to be involved in the grand final here as the head honcho, so to speak. So yeah, one day.
All right, guys. Well, that's our head trainer, Craig Walker. You'll learn a little bit more about him and his role. Hopefully, you've enjoyed that. And until then, next week.